Yeah,
right now?
What are you?
Dad's black, mom's white. Standard issue, pretty much.
Powerful combination genetic wise, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll go
One of the
with
strongest combinations of all time.
that. I would say so.
Yeah, you get the body of the black man, and then you get the mind of the white man all together in some strange combination.
The whole
That
starting
doesn't,
lineup was
by the
mixed.
way, mean that black people don't have brains. It's a
No.
different brain.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. So anyway, we can't go to there. So I go, you got to go to one where there's Planet of the Apes, man. We're going to go see Planet of the Apes. So I look on the iPhone app, and it says, okay, take me to this one. And the guy goes, okay. I go, is that in a good neighborhood? He's like, oh, yeah. Guy barely speaks English. He takes us there. We get out, and we're giggling. Oh, we're going to see Planet of the Apes. We walk into Planet of the Apes. We walked into Africa, dude. We walked in the door, and there was no white people.
She passed me the J and the lighter. Me and this hood rat bitch got tighter. Talking all day on the blanket with her ass jacked up, begging me to spank it. Look at
Just because I speak fluent Ebonics, which it is an official language, my first language, don't mean a damn thing. Every 9 seconds I say, know what I'm saying. Just to make sure we're all on the same page, they haven't lost you. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
They want us fighting with each other over what color we are. I went and ate at a nice restaurant Wednesday night on East 6th Street, a gentrified area, and had somebody try to mug us. Basically said, give me money. I'm real mad and bowed up. And I just said, listen, we're not going to give you money. And it was a black guy doing it to us. And then one of my crew members went out Saturday, almost got mugged downtown by people pulled out knives and we're going to kill you, whitey. I don't hate black people because there's a bunch of racist black people out attacking whites. But see, the media won't cover it because it's political correctness. And they've so energized some black folks with hatred, they believe it's okay to go out and attack whites. You can't even go into downtown Austin, basically anywhere. I want to warn everybody. You just go out, you will deal with black Ku Klux Klan people. Just type into Google, black on white crime statistics, and you'll get this from the federal government. 25 times more likely, less likely for a white to attack a black. So 25 times. Here's the one time a white attacks a black, FBI crime statistics. Here is the 25 times a black attacks a white. I mean, these are real numbers, and I'm not bashing all black people, but I grew up to not be a racist. And then I was wondering why big black guys kept attacking me. Well, that was because they were racist black guys in Dallas and we're in gangs. So here you go. And it goes through all the numbers. Just search engine, black on white crime statistics, Department of Justice. And it even gets into how whites are 4 times the population of blacks, but it doesn't matter. You have a white attack 25 times for every time a black is attacked. But you wouldn't believe that watching Quentin Tarantino movies because he's ultra rich and in with the Silicon Valley guys in a rear guard action to just make sure America fights with each other while the globalists rob everybody. Because I want everybody to live together in peace. Look at this statistic. USA crime statistics. Blacks killed by whites, 2%. Blacks killed by police, 1%. Whites killed by police, 3%. Whites killed by whites, 16%. Whites killed by blacks, 81%. 81% of whites killed was by blacks. Blacks killed by blacks, 97%. And that's the same number today. I mean, if you're worried about black people, you'd be worried about black folks killing you. But see, it doesn't matter. You get a couple hundred blacks getting killed every year by cops, and sometimes it's wrong. You'd think that's the end of the world.
Joe Rogan, Eddie Bravo, and Alex Jones are 3 of a kind. They all relatively have a large following on each of their social media platforms, from where they have the ability to influence myriads of people. The purpose of this video is to examine and to expose the common bond of racism shared among these 3 friends by observing both their individual actions and also by looking at them collectively. In episode number 97 of the Joe Rogan Experience, Joe is interviewing Freddie Lockhart, whose father is black and mother is white. Joe begins by commenting on Freddie's physical appearance, and then asking him how much black does he have in him. After telling Joe and the listening audience that his father is black and his mother is white, Joe makes the following awkward comment and presents it as if it is a compliment. Powerful combination genetic-wise. One of the most powerful combinations of all time. You get the body of the black man and you get the mind of the white man all together in some strange combination. At this moment, Joe knows what he just said is problematic, so he tries to back up and clarify what he means, but only makes it worse by saying the following. That doesn't, by the way, mean that black people don't have brains. It is a different brain, don't get me wrong. What I'm saying is clearly black people have the superior bodies. Now, what he has just done by making that statement, that black people have the superior bodies, he has implied that his belief is that the white man has clearly a superior mind and that the black man has an inferior one.
Freddie is one of those, you know that he's got some black in him, but how much?
How much?
What's going on here?
Are you asking me to strip Joe Rogan right now?
What are you?
Dad's black, mom's white. Standard issue, pretty much.
Powerful combination genetic-wise, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll go
One of the
with
strongest combinations of all time.
that. I would say so.
Yeah, you get the body of the black man, and then you get the mind of the white man all
Right.
together in some
Yeah.
strange combination.
That's why
You
the
know, and
University of Arizona won the 1996 national championship. The whole
that
starting
doesn't,
lineup was
by the
mixed.
way, mean that black people don't have brains. It's
No.
a different brain.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. But I'm saying is clearly black people have the superior bodies.
Right.
The following is another example of Joe Rogan's casual racism disguised as comedic commentary on the Kimbo Slice vs. Dada 5000 Bellator fight. Joe couldn't resist stereotyping Dada's diet as consisting only of cheeseburgers, fried chicken, and orange soda because of the poor shape he was in and his terrible performance.
Hey, has there ever been a bigger shit show than that Bellator
Never.
fight? I think it put our sport back 7 years.
Nah, just put Bellator back. Didn't do shit for
Free
our
agents
sport.
now are going to go Bellator? Fuck, man.
Fuck that.
How about Dada? Went to the hospital.
Yeah, his heart stopped. It was
Dada
just filled,
died.
it was filled with cheeseburgers and fried chicken and orange soda.
Hey, is there any way you could have trained for that fight? Is
He
there
didn't train.
any way?
There's no way he trained.
No way. He thought he was just hood.
I mean, he might have trained for a couple of days.
They said he lost 40 pounds.
Well, that's not good. You should have lost 40 pounds before.
Dude,
it's not like you didn't know you
don't
were
do
going to
that
do
in the
this.
backyards.
Well, how about Kimbo? What the fuck was going on with him?
I don't know.
That wasn't even amateur hours because you really. If it's an amateur fight, like you would be like chomping at the bit to get at those guys. But I hope they're in my bracket.
Fuck
all you
yeah.
have to do is dance around for a few minutes. These guys are toast.
I agree.
A low-level college wrestler would have fucked those dudes
Oh,
up.
but how about this one
the
exchange?
college wrestler.
How about
High
the one
school.
exchange? How the one exchange where Dada just sort of laid down and Kimbo just rolled over on top of him. He just laid down.
That hurt
They
my
just-
soul.
They just
That
laid
fight
down.
hurt my
there was
soul.
no takedown. It was like, let's just take this to the ground. Like, I wonder if they were talking to each other. You want to take this to the ground, homie? Yeah. Is this a chill dog? Is this officially? Do we call it? Can we call it chill dog?
As you heard in the last clip, Joe imitating Kimbo Slice and Dada 5000 and imagining a conversation between the two in the cage. You can hear and you can see that Joe loves talking in what he thinks is an authentic black voice, and often does this in front of his mainly white friends while doing his podcast. He argues what seems to be a valid point when defending it by mentioning when Richard Pryor used to imitate white people using a white voice. The difference being that Richard Pryor did this as part of his act in front of a live mixed audience of white, black, and numerous people of different ethnic backgrounds, which could have booed him at any time, versus Joe doing it for his own self-amusement and to entertain his white friends. Black people have historically used racial comedy as a tool to tear down racial barriers and to bring people together by making fun of our superficial differences, while on the other hand, white people have historically used racial comedy to dehumanize, divide, segregate, and mock other groups of people for their sole amusement. Examples of this are the minstrel shows where white actors would wear blackface and act buffoonish to poke fun at black people. Joe Rogan understands this difference, though he makes a false equivalence to defend himself by invoking Richard Pryor. To prove my point, you will hear Joe Rogan in the following clip defending his black voice. But only moments later, while talking about his experience of going to see Planet of the Apes with a predominantly black audience, he suddenly feels uncomfortable when a trailer for The Sitter starring Jonah Hill comes on. Jonah Hill's character is talking in so-called black vernacular to a black doorman. You can see Brian Red Barnes' hands go up to cover his face as Joe is describing the situation. So you mean to tell me Joe is completely comfortable talking in a black voice in front of his white friends, but when he's in a theater full of black people, he is suddenly uncomfortable to hear Jonah Hill talking in a so-called black voice?
Yay! Joe Diaz is in the house. Bitches, buckle
The
up.
Joe Rogan Experience.
We're finna make shit happen. I'm gonna say that all the time now. We're finna do this. We're finna make shit happen. I don't even know where that came from. I don't know why it exists. We're finna do this. But I like it. I'm a fan of we're finna do this. I don't know what it means.
What are you talking? You lost me on that.
We're finna go do this podcast. Some guy tweeted me saying he doesn't like when I do a black voice. And to him, I say tough shit. You're gonna have to deal with that. If there wasn't people that actually talked like that, you know, if I was doing that white guy voice that Richard Pryor always did, that never bothered me. He's like, hey there, Mr. Pryor, my mom, why, she's a great old gal. I guess there are a few people that talk like that, but there's a lot of motherfuckers who talk like my black voice, okay? It's not like you have to go find them, like, gee gollicky, gee whizzermaker. No, there's a lot of dudes who'll be like, we finna do this podcast. That's not even ridiculous. That sounds exactly what a lot of black people sound like. But for whatever fucking reason, man, black people are so super sensitive about just a little good-natured joking around. But I'll tell you what made me really nervous and made me feel kind of weird was watching all of these previews of all these different TV shows or all these different movies rather that are coming out. And I'm watching these movies and all of them are about white people.
Oh, weird.
And I'm sitting there and I'm going, wow, this is weird. Like, imagine being a black person. And I always thought, like, people would complain, like, I'd hear black people complain about, oh, there's no films for black people. There's no roles for black actors. And I'd be like, so go make a movie. What do you want from me? You know? But when you go to a goddamn movie theater with all black people, that's when you really feel it. I'm sitting there in the audience and all these people are black, but every movie preview is white. There's no black characters. And then finally there's this movie with Jonah Hill. And they show a preview for the movie. And it's Jonah Hill and he's doing all this different shit and he's babysitting kids, but he's supposed to be like a cool guy. And the way they show you he's a cool guy is there's an old black guy working like at a door at a club. Like the black guy's there and Jonah Hill's talking black to him. You know, it is what it is, brother. It is what it is. And I'm watching this with all these black people. I'm watching this white guy talk like a black guy. And I'm in this fucking theater filth and I'm like, and I'm high as fuck. I mean, just barbecued, sitting there soaking in this experience going, wow, this is fucked up.
You know this ain't no place for no kids. My name's Noah J. Bird. Noah J. Bird? Oh, you like to fly. What's your name, baby? They call me Soul Baby. Soul Baby? Yeah. Keep it in control, baby. Tears, no fears, man. Oh, is that right? Respect it, don't neglect it. All right, my brother. Treat it, don't beat him. All right, baby. You're a badass motherfucker.
Like, no wonder why black people are angry and they feel disenfranchised. Like, they're completely removed from the mainstream cultural experience in a lot of ways. Like, there's a tiny percentage of black people that are included in movies. Some guy tweeted me saying he doesn't like when I do a black voice. And to him, I say tough shit.
There has been a long and well-documented history of Europeans dehumanizing black people by comparing black people to apes. Using everything from pseudoscience to religion to claim black people are some sort of missing link in the racial evolutionary hierarchy from ape to European. People conveniently forget that there used to be human zoos where black people and other conquered indigenous peoples were placed for the viewing pleasure of European audiences. This tradition of dehumanizing non-white people and equating them to animals is carried on today by far-right fans of the so-called beautiful game. You can see today fans of World Cup soccer making Nazi salutes, monkey chants, and throwing bananas at black players, all the while claiming that it is not racist and that it's just part of the game and their culture. You also have politicians, talk show hosts, comedians, and other entertainers linking black people to apes by saying such things as they look like they could be part of the cast of Planet of the Apes.
Planet of the Apes, that shit will offend you. Black people hate that movie. Because you know they talking about us. Planet of the Apes is about black people. I can tell by the way. Get your goddamn dirty ape hands off of me. You ain't see the one with Mark Wahlberg and them motherfuckers had them apes in that movie sitting around eating watermelon talking about I'm not making that up. They had the apes eating watermelon. I was like, who the fuck are you really talking about? And that's not bad. After that, the ape smoked a Newport at the end of the meal. That's fucking crazy. The ape smoking Newports. Trying to make fun of black people. Let me guess, these apes like fried chicken too? Am I seeing a pattern? They made some crazy ass movies.
Shut the fuck up about this thing. I gotta tell you about Philadelphia.
He's talking about Philadelphia.
God damn it. You trying to change the subject after he beats me down?
I was just trying to calm him down for a second.
Don't talk about weed, dog. Not around me, dog. Don't talk about weed. I got the fucking real weed.
So Philly has a cracked bell.
Yeah, we're in Philadelphia. Tommy Jr. brings us Connecticut weed.
Oh.
I am thinking this is going to be just terrible. I'm thinking it's going to be useless. But it was Joey Diaz style, OG Kush, Indica, the shit that you used to smoke. And we just go 8, 9, 10 hits deep to the point where we don't want to leave the balcony. Okay, we're terrified. We're out there and we're looking out and it's a beautiful summer night. And Tommy Jr. is my boy. I've known him since I was like in my early 20s. And, his girl Katie's really cool. And we're hanging out and the three of us are just giggling our asses off going, we're too high to go outside. We're so high. We're so nervous and paranoid, but we're going to see Planet of the Apes. We had decided. The evening I was looking forward to this weekend very much because usually on Friday night before the UFC, I always do a show. We always do a show somewhere. But this weekend, I was just going to play pool with Tommy. And Tommy, texted me somewhere during the week, dude, Planet of the Apes opens this week. Let's do that too. Like, fuck yeah. We gotta, for me, man, I've got kids, little babies, and they constantly need supervision. And I don't really get a chance to just go fuck off for a whole day. So I do the weigh-ins are done by 5 o'clock. And I'm hanging out with Tommy right after that. I do some UFC shit for like an hour, and then we're hanging out. So we're so high, we can't think straight. We're just giggling, but little giggle silly high. It wasn't like my kind of high where it's like thinking about Jupiter and, what happens if a planet hits another planet. No, it's Joe Diaz style high. So we're giggling and we have a driver. Luckily, I have this guy taking us around, like a big town car, but whatever those SUV things. So the guy takes us to, this movie theater. I go, take us to whatever the good movie theater is in town, right? And he goes, well, the good movie theater is over here. And so he takes me to this super white neighborhood where all the movies are shit movies. It's all like foreign films. Those weird, what are those theaters called?
Lemleys.
Lemleys. Yeah. Well, you go there and you go, what the fuck is this movie? What do you look for something that you recognize, but everything's alternative. I'm sure some of them are good, but I've seen some that everybody told me were good because they were alternative, like fucking was Ghost Dog, whatever that samurai one was with Forrest Whitaker. Everybody's like, it's so amazing. It was such a piece of shit. It was such a dumb movie, and everybody's like, it's amazing, because it's an independent film, so it's one of these Lemley films. So anyway, we can't go to there. So I go, you got to go to one where there's Planet of the Apes, man. We're going to go see Planet of the Apes. So I look on the iPhone app, and it says, okay, take me to this one. And the guy goes, okay. I go, is that in a good neighborhood? He's like, oh, yeah. Guy barely speaks English. He takes us there. We get out. and we're giggling. Oh, we're going to see Planet of the Apes. We walk into Planet of the Apes. We walked into Africa, dude. We walked in the door, and there was no white people. There was no white people. Planet of the Apes didn't take place in Africa. That was a racist thing for me to say.
In the next clip, Joe Rogan goes over the top trying to defend and excuse Roseanne Barr's racist Planet of the Apes comment. He talks about her being on Ambien and having drug abuse problems. He throws in that she was also drunk that evening. He even gives her the "I didn't know she was black before I called her an ape" defense. The whole time he never reveals the true reason why he's defending her. And that is because he has made the same Planet of the Apes joke about black people. These types of people try to avoid taking responsibility for their actions by claiming ignorance or by saying it was just a joke. Or in Joe Rogan's case, he can simply hide behind his black stepdaughter to take the heat off himself.
Have you spoken about Roseanne yet?
Not publicly. No.
Have you had private conversations enough to form some sort of thought process on it?
I talked to Ben Shapiro about it today on his show, but it won't be out until Sunday.
What is... have you ever encountered her in the world?
I know Roseanne. I talked to her on the phone, and I believe every word she said. She told me that she was taking Ambien and that she was drunk on Memorial Day weekend, and she tweeted a bunch of stupid shit, and she's out of her fucking mind. And she said, in her words, I need to adjust my meds. I'm not thinking straight. And she was talking about how exhausted she got doing that television show, and she got bronchitis, and she was overworked. I think she's stressing the fuck out. She also told me that she did not know that lady was even black. She thought that lady was Jewish. And she said to me, do you really think that I would make a joke about a black lady and say Planet of the Apes? I wouldn't fucking do that. She's like, I thought she was Jewish. Look at her. So I did look at her. Pull up her Wikipedia page. This lady. She, she most certainly, pull it up so we can see it. She most certainly could be African American, for sure. But she also most certainly could be Hawaiian or Native American or...
Point being that...
Italian, maybe. She thought Jewish. That's what Roseanne said, Jewish. This is what she said. I do not know. I don't think she's lying to me. I don't think she's racist.
Have you ever taken Ambien?
No, I've never taken Ambien.
Anybody here ever take Ambien?
A good friend of mine about it today.
Okay.
And he got up in the middle of the night, cooked himself a meal, ate it, went to sleep, got up in the morning, and had no recollection of it. He had to be told that he did. He was trying to figure out who put the plates in the sink, who ate this food, where this food come from. He couldn't figure it out. He got up in the middle of the night, doesn't remember a thing,
right,
and cooked himself a meal. Sat down, ate it, went back to bed, has zero recollection of it.
He said it
scared the shit out of him.
But during that meal, at any point, did he get racist or anything like that?
I wonder.
You know what I'm saying?
See,
he's literally... it's one thing,
really
it's a spooky story to be I took Ambien and I made myself some food. It's an even spookier story to be I took Ambien and I fucking killed somebody. But it's a stretch to be it
is.
I took Ambien and I said something I would never say in a million years. It heartens me to hear you say that she said that she wasn't aware of the lady's race.
Yeah.
Because I don't know her. All I know her from is Roseanne. All I know her from is decades of watching her in media. Her TV show. I followed her before the TV show. It didn't seem like the Roseanne that I've watched for 30, 40 years.
I don't know her very well, but I do know there was another time where she said something about Susan Rice, who is another African American woman, and she said something about her and compared
swinging
her to
balls.
Yeah, something like swinging ape balls.
So that's 2 for 2.
It's 2, yeah. Well, this one for sure, right? Because this one there's no excuse for. Right. So this is one from the past that there was no, oh my God, I was on Ambien, I tweeted this. No one said anything. Susan Rice is a man with big swinging ape balls.
And that wasn't meant to be a compliment,
That's 2013. Okay, so that's a long time ago. That's 5 years ago.
Oh, and you can, I don't know if it's still available, but if you can go through a timeline and see a bunch of things that are not like a comedian being funny, but
right.
beliefs.
Right. That one is that's a rough one. That to me is a way rougher one. It's way rougher. Like that one is like, that's what you said. I mean, it is what it is. You know, if you said that the other lady looked like Planet of the Apes just because of her haircut, because she looks like the lead woman in
Zira?
Yeah, she looked like Zira. There was like a photo of her back. It was just like the way her haircut was and her outfit was.
Right.
I think some people, would. But if you didn't know that she was black, it's a totally different thing.
Yeah.
Do we know that for sure? Only she knows for sure.